Today, I'm really excited today to have somebody very, very dear to me, and I'm grateful. He is someone I hold very highly in my heart. I've walked in through many seasons with him. Many of y'all know I preached about him. He's probably done shows about me, and we are besties, and I'm grateful to have him with me today. I want you to put your hands together for the one and the only Rickey Smiley. Come on.
Good morning. I said, Bishop, you're cleaning in a new napkin.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Welcome back to Mount Zion, man. We miss you.
I'm glad to be back home.
Yes, indeed. We miss you, man. We are excited. This is I've seen you right here on this tour. You've been doing a lot, been touching a lot of lives. And this is a different side of Rickey we're going to hear about today. And just first of all, thank you for the courage to write this book. Thank you for what it means to the world, what you have done. And I'm going to just give you a chance to talk about what inspired this amazing book, what inspired you to do this, and out of that place of pain, why you felt it was necessary to pen a book like this.
Yeah, you know, we've been through a lot of stuff together through death. I was there with you when you lost your mother, and you've been there for me at granddaddy funeral, just back and forth. There's just so much grief and so much death around us. Everybody go through it, and I thought it was important to write a book on grief and how to deal with grief. And a lot of us have not grieved properly. And so in the book, not only do I tell my story, I talk about the importance of therapy and getting the help that we need, because there's a stigma, that we don't go, get therapy and get help. We're supposed to pray everything away. Well, God created therapists, and it's so important to go. It's funny because when you roll your ankle, you don't pull out a Bible. When you roll your ankle, you go to the doctor. Well, the brain is a muscle just like your ankle. Right. And we have to go and get help for our brain, just like we would any other organ in the body, to help us process the trauma and the feelings, because if you don't do it the right way, grief can take you all the way down. It can take you out. It can start to affect other organs in the body. And some people don't recover from a death. Some people die themselves. And that's why I wrote a lot about that in the book. It's so important. I was getting therapy twice a week because I thought I was going to die. I thought I was losing my mind when I was going through that. So it's important. That's one of the reasons why I wrote it.
I remember the call, I remember when you called me, you were in the airport, and I just began to pray, and we began to reflect on the fact that Easter we all spent at my house. And Brandon was there, and we all were there. And you've been using your platform to tell this story about grief and about how to walk through this. How has it been received by people? How has it blessed? Have you seen your story be a blessing to other people?
People absolutely love the book. They love the story, but it's also been opening them up, because a lot of people haven't dealt with losing a loved one. A lot of people haven't dealt with it. We just kind of go back to work and say, hey, I'm just going to keep it moving, and I'm just going to go to work the next day and work it off. Because when you get through going to work, doing whatever you're doing, grief is going to be there waiting on you.
Yes, it is.
And it'll sneak up on you at the craziest time. And, it also gives you some perspectives to look at also. Because we have to also think about what our loved ones would have wanted for us. Yeah. They don't want us to be down here sad and crying or whatever, because they are in a better place. My son, your mother, your brother, our loved ones, they are all in a better place. But we still have to get the help, and we have to do the work, and it's work that comes with therapy. We have to do the work in order to heal.
Yeah. Why Sideshow? Talk about that, yeah.
Sideshow. For me personally, being a comedian, my job is to make people laugh, whether it be on the radio Monday through Friday and stand-up comedy on the weekend. So Sideshow comes from the song, let the sideshow begin. Hurry, hurry, step. Can't afford to guarantee to make you cry. See the man who's been crying for 1,000,000 years, so many tears. See the girl who collect broken hearts as souvenirs. Me on stage performing, telling jokes, making people laugh. And they're going through stuff as well, but, I'm sad on the inside because I'm dealing with grief and loss, anxiety, the butterflies, but you got to go out here and perform. So that's where the title Sideshow come from.
I remember, and I think one of the blessings of our friendship is I've had opportunities to talk to you and to hear you go through these very acute moments, right? I remember once we talked and you were getting ready to do a show and we talked, and you talked about that, why would I not go out here and do this when somebody's just lost this? Even as we do this interview today in your hometown of Birmingham, somebody's grieving what just happened in Birmingham last night.
Right.
And you think about, we personalize our own trauma without recognizing that maybe God uses it for us to be a catalyst to help someone else get through their journey. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been teaching, us and our pastors growing up that all of this is a test. It don't feel like a test when you're going through it, but it is definitely a test. And sometimes God look at how we're going to handle these situations or whatever. The next level, you talk about going to the next level, all of this is a test. My son died on a Sunday. I got back on the radio that Wednesday. And I just didn't want to lay in the bed and think about it or whatever. I just got up and did radio because I just kind of felt like, well, there's people out there, they lost their son too. My son was 32, but there's a mother out there who lost her 16-year-old son. I just couldn't imagine what I would do if my son had died at 16. And the book gives you glimmers of hope. It gives you sun rays coming through the gray clouds. Like, I started thinking about, my son was 32, and he could have died at 16. A lady a week after my son died, she lost both of her sons. I had 2 sons. That could have been me. And it's like much is given, much is required. You have to go out here and work for the people and do your job and get on the radio. Let them know to lean on God. Let them know that to praise God, to keep God at the forefront, because I wasn't able to lean on God because he was carrying me. The only thing I asked God to do when my son died was to get me from the front door to the elevator of my apartment. And I was by myself, and I had to call my kids and give them specific instructions as to what to do and to come home now. Brandon didn't make it. Those was my exact words. I need you to drive home safely, meet me at the house. And I'm finding out this news while packing a backpack, trying to make a 10 o'clock flight. My son talked to my mom that morning, and she was about to pick him up and take him to church with her. And she said, hey, I'm finna pick him up and take him to church. And probably 15 minutes later, he was gone, just that quick. And I went to the Salvation Army because I wanted to show God, and maybe you can help me out with this. I just wanted to show God that through my trials and tribulations, I had my son clothes in the car to take to the funeral home. And I stopped by the Salvation Army and put on an apron to serve the homeless. You had homeless people coming through the line to get a hot dog with some sauerkraut, some chips, a cup of punch. Don't have a TV. I don't know how they found out, but it was like, sorry about your loss, Rick. I lost my son too. And you don't have a place to live. And you don't have food. You have to come to the Salvation Army to eat. And I just remember driving to the funeral home when I left the Salvation Army by myself in the car, dark, raining. It was the worst day. The wind was blowing. Thought I was going to have a wreck. Cars were just going, zooming past you, the trucks, the mist blowing up on you. I had no visibility while I was driving. And I just didn't understand any of it because it was that was the darkest day, because at least the day of the funeral, the sun was shining. But that Wednesday was dark, and I was still willing to serve. And at the last chapter of the book talk about God would give you double for your trouble. And he will, and he did. And so I lay it all out in the book, and I connected my son's death to my father's death. They were both young. They died the same way. I was watching my grandfather bury his son, which was my dad. So I connected the two, and I just made it all make sense. And the book is written how I speak, and it's an easy read, and it's a great book, and I'm proud of it.
You saw me, yeah, come on, give it up. When you talk about devil for your trouble, you, you, you saw me go through a difficult season. You walked me through it. We talk about that. And on the front row, you can see God gave me double for my trouble.
Yeah.
And I know that God is using you in this season, Rickey, to get double for your trouble. And here's the deal. So often when we grieve, we often think about, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And what I learned in some of the most painful moments of my life is that God sometimes wants us not to always focus on what we do next, but it's okay to just be. Because it's in our being, in our transparency, that God can handle that. You got enough equity out here, enough doing good out here in the atmosphere, in the world, that's going to come back to you. You are courageous. You bless us with what you say and how you encourage people. But I think the greatest witness of you in this season, in this book, is that you are saying it's okay to be. And the cathartic nature of writing a book like this, and to be transparent, and to open your heart up to the world like this, it's blessing us all, man. And we want to thank you for just being. I leave my final thing, Rickey, there's that image, in theaters and comedy, where one side of the face is smiling, one side of the face is sad. Everybody walks up to you and it's always a joke, and then you write a book like this and they realize, whoa, man, something really happened. And you're processing that, the being and the doing, and the being and the doing. How do I make others smile when I'm in a place of pain? How does my ministry to the world impact others while I'm still hurting? How does Jesus still minister from a cross and give himself to others even while he's dying? And even while you were dying, you were still blessing people. And this book that I know is going to touch the world, it's already touching the world. I just want you to know, bro, we're proud of you. We love you. You're at home now. And we thank God for you, man. Would y'all help me thank God for the one and the only Rickey Smiley?